This week felt like it had elements of Vault of Death and 30 Minutes After Noon. Vault of Death specifically because those that remember the original episode, Virgil and Alan had to use the London Underground to get to the Bank of England where Langbridge, I think that was his name, had himself locked in the vault because they couldn't use the mall for security reasons and the Underground was connected to the Bank of England. And 30 Minutes After Noon is because those that remember the original episode is that an office worker was trapped at the bottom of an elevator shaft after having an explosive device attached to his wrist, and he had to place it within the drawer of an office floor and then managed to try and get out alive. And International Rescue had to get to the bottom of the basement using a special elevator in order to pull him out. And I felt like those elements were there in trying to rescue Davina. It was nice to see how resourceful Virgil could be after the loss of his mech suit, as the sonic wave device had caused more debris to fall down, and it was just interesting just to see how he would use the sonic wave device in order to get out of the basement into the underground and also stop Light-Fingered Fred and Gomez. And it was really cool to see Sherbert have a hand, or a paw in this case, in apprehending the criminals. So writing this week, writing was alright. I enjoyed it. All I have to say for cast this week is that the regulars, including those that played Light-Fingered Fred and Gomez, were fine, but I just found that Firefighter McCready just sounded bored and uncaring. I don't know if that was just down to the vocal direction that they wanted the voice actress to do, but I just didn't enjoy what I hear. It just sounded like she was bored. A little disappointed that the streets, buildings, and the London Underground were CG created and not bigatures like it had been for the last two seasons, because I feel like this goes against the concept for this generation where the model sets would still be real miniature sets and only the characters and vehicles would be CG. So, I mean, they're still impressive, but I just felt like that goes against the concept of the series. To my understanding, for special note this week, is that this is the second time in the series run that Pod 5 has been used, and I get the impression that Cab 9000 may have been an unintentional reference to Kit from Knight Rider, because it's a self-driving car. Still would love to see Kit in Thunderbirds, even if it was just as a parody where, you know, Virgil just happens to be giving Kit a lift from New York to Los Angeles. Excuse me, Mr. Virgil, but why are we going so slow? Well, buddy, we can go faster. Then why don't we? Although, Kit interacting with Brains and Max, that'd be an interesting setup. Carolyn, there's your job this week. The character Gomez is used from the original episode Move and You're Dead, and Firefighter McCready appears for the first time since the Season 2 episode Inferno, which has yet to be transmitted onto TV, but given the circumstances of what actually happened in real life, it's not hard to understand why, and I respect that decision. Final thoughts for this week. Reasonably well-rounded episode. I felt like the Getaway portion overshadowed the rescue of Davina, but I think in the whole scheme of things, it's nice every once in a while to have a Parker and Penelope driven, no pun intended, episode. And yeah, I felt like the episode did its job that it needed to. It was nice to sort of see Virgil was doing a rescue in the background, and it was nice to see a continued rapport between Virgil and MacReady, and particularly the way he hands his laser scope off to her afterwards, says, this ought to get the kids' attention for around supper time. It's a nice thing between those two characters. I think it's just like mutual banter, for lack of a better description, but it's nice to see, because not everything needs to have a romantic angle like Penelope and Gordon, or even Scott and Marion, although I think theirs is just sort of sarcastic banter. Make of that what you will, but yeah, this week was genuinely enjoyable, and next week, episode 18, is going to be the last episode before the third and final break for season 3. This season is feeling like it's getting to be a chore just to get through it, but we'll see. Until next time, this is MJ Knight saying good night from the night, and Thunderbirds are go.